for win number 11 against their arch rival Skins. Come in from the cold to a place where style points and playoff berths are always rewarded. Primetime is next. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Week 17 of NFL Primetime. The day after Christmas, some major surprises. Looked like some of the big teams took some of the little teams as an extra Christmas gift. They were surprised. It wasn't Santa. It was Scrooge. But Santa of sorts is with me. Tom Jackson. Robin Roberts has the week off, and she missed a day when a lot of her teams were winners.
Yeah, that's right.
That's kind of the way it worked out. Sunday Night Football here on ESPN. The Kansas City Chiefs, the last time they won the AFC West was 1971. That season, you may remember, was ended on the double overtime game when Garo Yepremian hit a field goal for the Dolphins to beat those Chiefs. Well, they hadn't won a division in that long, and about an hour before they took the field against the Minnesota Vikings, the Chiefs learned they had won the West. Was that enough reason for them to get their game face partly off against the Vikings, or were the Vikes too tough? Let's look at Sunday night highlights from the Homer Dome. And here we go. Joe Montana, only 4 interceptions all year. So naturally, early on, pick. Anthony Parker returns it for the Vikes into Chief territory. Sets up a field goal by Fuad Reveiz. Then Chris Carter. All he does is catch touchdown. McMahon to Carter, 10-3 Vikes at the half. Marty's Chiefs didn't have it on this night. McMahon, sometimes he doesn't look good. Tonight he did. Chris Carter looks great. Another touchdown catch, 17-3. Dennis Green's squad also getting running from the youngster, Scotty Graham. He's a cracker, 30 yards off left tackle. Then in the fourth, more running for the Vikes. Graham from 6 yards out, barrels into the end zone. 33 carries, ties a club record. Derek Thomas and the Chiefs bewildered. Yeah, they've won the division, and they should be very happy. But the Vikings wax them on the night after Christmas in Minneapolis. Not a creature was stirring, not even the Chiefs. The Vikings 30 and the Chiefs 10. Our Sunday night finale here on ESPN, the Houston Oilers, who could get home field advantage to the playoffs in the AFC if the Bills lose to the Colts. They host the Jets. That's next Sunday at 8 Eastern Time. We've got plenty to show you. There are some tete-a-tetes, especially in the NFC Central. And we're just talking about the Chiefs. How did the Raiders do with the frozen tundra of Green Bay? Well, let's see if the Hawks ride roughshod over the Pack. And Lions, Bears. Oh, my, the cold at Soldier Field.
They are more precious than gold. Sweeter than the honey. They are more precious than gold. They make wine.
With 3 hours of breathtaking picture and sound on a single tape, and instant playback at the touch of a button, nothing portrays the moments that color our lives like a Sony Handycam camcorder. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
The celebration's on. It's the 15th annual Toyotathon, our best yet. Sales are really pouring in on the #1 selling compact 4x4 and on the big Toyota T100. No wonder. Factory to dealer incentives, Toyota lease, 4Runner option package savings. How's the truck supply, Mark?
This is Fremont, California, where it all begins for a lot of Toyota trucks. With Toyotathon here, they could sell out.
It can happen when you build the best.
Like we do.
From Fremont, California, straight to Toyotathon.
Don't miss out on Toyotathon. Get to your Toyota dealer today.
Doesn't it feel so sharp? Doesn't it feel on the mark? Doesn't it feel good to pay less?
Who's got the latest men's shoes on sale? Pay less.
Doesn't it feel like leather? So put together. Doesn't it feel good to pay less?
Men's leather loafers, dress shoes, and hikers starting at a very comfortable $19.99. Better step on it.
Doesn't it feel good to pay less?
NFL Primetime is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for a crisp, clean, classic taste.
When we return on NFL Primetime, could Deion Sanders and the Falcons pull out the stops and keep their playoff hopes alive? Or will the Bengals smell upset? Stay with us.
Now, Golf Digest, the #1 magazine in golf, introduces something guaranteed to lower your score. 8 ways to a better golf game. It can help you experience a game you always knew you had inside of you. A game that can make you better off the tee. Better out of the sand. Better on the green. Better all around. Experience the game that's inside of you. Get the 8 Ways to a Better Golf Game video. It's guaranteed to improve your game, and it's free with your paid subscription to Golf Digest. That's right, free. If you think you can do without it, think again. Order 12 issues of Golf Digest for just $19.77 now, and get the latest video free. Call 800-225-7555. That's 800-225-7555.
Ramil Robinson, 1989, Michigan Seton Hall.
About to hit the game-winning free throw
With no time left. And he makes it look... Oh! He just...
Get in there!
He just...
Oh, dang it! Little help? Son of a... Come on!
And he makes it look this easy. Of course, it was harder for him with all the screaming fans and the pressure.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, the day after Christmas, a wild one here in Week 17. The Saints were at the Eagles. Since 1990, 15 teams had started the NFL season at 3-0. All 15 of them had made the playoffs. So when the Saints started 5-0 and the Eagles 4-0, they figured they had a pretty good shot at the playoffs. Well, it's been a long season since those good starts, and it's possible that neither of them could make it to the big show. Which one would survive the cold today? Jim Mora's Saints on the road with Wade Wilson hurt. Mike Buck makes his first career start at the Vet against the Eagles. How did Mike Buck do? Answer, not very well. Incomplete to Herb Smith. He looks for Eric Martin. Forget it. And then Clyde Simmons and Mike Flores introduce themselves to Buck. Steps up in the pocket, but there's all Eagles. Wasn't a good day for Buck. First half passing, Eagles 142 to the Saints -3. The Saints look for their real strength in offense. Morton Anderson had 4 field goals, including this from 56 in the cold, in the wind, outside. When they try to put the ball in the air, Buck nailed in the end zone. Thomas gets the sack, and it's 9-2 Saints.
Yeah, you watch Thomas here come around, get the sack. This would be 7 points, though. Irv Smith very alert to get on that ball and save 5 points.
So it's 9-2 after the 2-run home run by Kruk, but Philadelphia trying to get in it. Brister in the air for 49 yards. Michael Youngkin goes all the way. It's a touchdown. Roger Ruzek, who framed him? He missed a couple of extra points today, so at this point the Eagles don't tie it. They're down 9-8. Then, Bubby Brister. And they're scrapping. These are teams that met last year in the playoffs. Here is Brister with the dump to Herschel Walker. And it's a touchdown. And it's 15-9 Eagles. Maybe the Eagles are warming up. Brister loses the ball at the snap, and Sam Mills has it. Or is it a recovery for the Saints?
Well, a nice hit by Les Miller, and you can see that Bubby Brister clearly is not down when that ball pops out. The officials call the play dead.
The Eagles take the break, look for momentum. Steve Walsh has replaced Buck at quarterback. But Eric Allen picks it off. Look at him go. He taunts the Saints. No one's going to catch him. His 3rd touchdown on a pick this year, Tom.
Eric Allen giving a clinic on how to play cornerback, makes a nice break on the ball, and even in cold weather, a great one-handed grab.
You think it was luck? I don't think so. We go the other way. Another pick for a touchdown. His 4th for a TD this year. 6 overall. Ties an NFL record. Remember that scintillating return he had against the Giants? Well, the only bright spot for the Saints were the special teams. You saw Morton Anderson, and now you see the youngster Tyrone Hughes return a punt, and he's gone, 83 yards. But in a season when the Eagles' offense, since Randall Cunningham was hurt, have struggled, all of a sudden they ring up the points, and the New Orleans Saints continue to fade. The Eagles' 37-26 win leaves both teams at 7-8. The Saints with just 7 first downs. The Falcons at the Bengals. Falcons clinging to what they hope is a playoff shot. And it so enthralled everyone in Cincinnati that 27,000 showed up at Riverfront. And they saw the Bengals, who won last week, continue to look like they know what they're doing. Harold Green left for 13. Harold Green right for 12. Right down to the Falcons 3.
Yeah, you watch the replay here. A great lead block by Derek Fenner right there on Jesse Sullivan. Actually clears Jesse Tuggle as well, but they were getting plenty of yardage on the ground, Chris.
Those runs said, look at play action. I think Klingler was watching Boomer over the years. I do. Craig Thompson, a touchdown off play action, 7-0. His first touchdown pass at Riverfront all year. Jerry Glanville in his Darth Vader coat, hoping the Falcons can come back. Bobby Hebert avoids the rush. And he finds Drew Hill, a pretty play for a big gain. And then Hebert sees a bad moon rising. Perfect throw to Andre. 21 yards, we're tied at 7. Second quarter, David Shula says to his young quarterback, get to work. Another play fake, the reverse, the dump to the tight end, Tony McGee, who rumbles for 20 yards. And then Klingler to Carl Pickens, and the strength of the youngster, Tom.
Carl Pickens, the ability to get up and make a catch, and then the ability to wrestle the ball away. 6'3", about 215 pounds stronger than the average receiver in the NFL.
14-10 Bengals in the fourth. Eric Pegram had a big day, had a big year. Runs for 12 yards. Eric Pegram, 7, runs for 14. And that sets up Pegram from 1 yard out, the first 1,000-yard rusher for the Falcons since John Settle in '88. And Atlanta leads at 17-14 with about 7 minutes to go. The Bengals see the clock ticking down. They have one last chance. Klingler rushes. Tom, he's fast. Look at him pick up speed to the 40, the 30, the 25. Safe at the 21-yard line. They're within the field goal range of Doug Batts in the Pelfrey. But with just over a minute to go, Klingler to Pickens. What a throw. The Bengals lead 21-17.
Yeah, a great job of Klingler here reading with Pickens. The cornerback gets too far out in front of the front play, throw the ball behind the defender. Pickens is the only one who can pick it up.
So Glanville and the Falcons, despite 180 yards from Eric Pegram, see David Klingler's heroics. The Bengals have won what? Their last 3 home games? They've won 2 in a row. Bust them up. They beat the Falcons 21-17 to knock them out of whatever playoff shots they thought they had. But Tommy, let's go back to the Eagles game against the New Orleans Saints. I mean, there are some teams who even make it to the playoffs don't play as hard as the Eagles do every week.
Well, a lot of credit to Richie Kotite, the head coach of the Eagles, for keeping this team focused and ready to play week in and week out with all of the injuries that they've suffered. He's found out now that he has a good backup in Bubby Brister, a guy that if Randall Cunningham comes back strong next year, you can depend on to come in and win football games. And Eric Allen, what a performance he has put on this year. The likes of a Deion Sanders, a Jerry Rice, he is a game maker, a playmaker in every area.
And he's a record maker today, Tom. We showed the record. Let's go inside the numbers. Here it is. And remember, Allen has a game to go. Admittedly, the guys whose record that he tied did it in 14 games. But Ken Houston had 4 touchdowns on interceptions in 1971 when he picked off 9 for the Oilers. Jim Kearney, the safety of the Kansas City Chiefs, had 4 interceptions for a touchdown in 72. And now Eric Allen, 4 touchdowns in 1993 with a game to go. Pretty good list. Pretty good feat, or pretty good feats. When we return, here's a guy with some pretty good feats, Thermal Thomas, Bills Jets.
They are more precious than gold. Sweeter than the honey. They are more precious than gold. They make wine.
With 3 hours of breathtaking picture and sound on a single tape, and instant playback at the touch of a button, nothing portrays the moments that color our lives like a Sony Handycam camcorder. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
Hey, here's your din-din, big fella, huh? Yeah. Here's Daddy's din-din.
Once you get a look at those 2 all-beef patties.
No, this is Daddy's. Would you try
That special sauce, lettuce, cheese piled fresh and hot on that sesame seed bun. You've gotta have a Big Mac.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Most people have something they're willing to pay a premium for. For some, it's art. For some, it's entertainment. lives. It's travel. Acura. Some things are worth the price.
Watch as an NFL player provides a glimpse of his life inside. Presented by Sony Handycam.
Hi, my name is Barry Word. I'm a running back for the Minnesota Vikings. And we have 2 lessons today. One is for me on how to be a cameraman, and 2 is for you on a program that I like to call A Word to the Wise. As you know, people do anything for the camera. These are members of the neighborhood. Okay, T. Scott's locker. Barry's locker.
Defensive backs are usually between the guys on the team, and I exemplify that. So now we have to leave our neighborhood.
My program is called A Word to the Wise. I've seen that kids have problems out there, and so what I did was bought 46 season tickets to Viking games. What type kids do you send to the game?
Reward those who put effort in.
I've been there. I've been to jail. I know what it's like. Then after the game, 2 kids get to come with me out to dinner. When it's over, I'm off the football field, I'm just Barry. And that's what I want them to see.
Tune in next week when another NFL star shows us his life inside.
Back here on NFL Primetime, not much shuffling in Buffalo on December 26th as the Jets and Bills prepared to play the coldest game ever at Rich Stadium, an awful cold place. It was 9 degrees on the thermometer. Wind chill was 28 below. For the Bills, they're trying to win the AFC East for the 5th time in 6 years, and oddly enough, for the 4th time, if they could do it, it would be against the Jets. But the Jets are no easy task for them, especially since the Jets, too, were in a playoff hunt of their own. And here we go from Buffalo, where how cold was it? Whatever you had in the top drawer, bottom drawer, in the trunk, bring it out. It was 28 below wind chill. Jim Kelly, screen pass to Kenneth Davis, was not going to be a day for the long passing. Look at KD, cut back, and he almost scored before he's knocked out of bounds inside the 5. Then 1st and goal, the pitch to Thurman Thomas. Gardner with the block. He cuts in. It's a fumble, but they call it a touchdown. Good call on that, Tom.
Yeah, big break for the Buffalo Bills. Mo Lewis did a great job of stripping Thurman Thomas right there at the 1-yard line. You see the ball coming to loose. Was not called a fumble, called a TD instead.
For the Jets, this argument was a lost cause. As they're down 7-0, they left them with a touchdown. Johnny Johnson had a big day. He rumbles for 16 yards. That sets up Esiason to Johnny Johnson. Picks up lots of yards, 24 yards for a touchdown, and we're tied at 7-all. The Jets' first touchdown pass in 6 games, and it happens when it's 28 below 0. You explain it, Tom.
The beauty of the play is the quickness with which Esiason turns and spots Johnson as the outlet receiver on that play.
Bill's trying to warm up, fans. Showing off his Christmas sweater, I guess. 13-7 Bills, 3rd quarter. Boomer to Johnny Mitchell. Look at the tight end. Make the move on Darryl Talley and pick up 20 yards.
You know, in this kind of weather, the thing is a linebacker, you can't get your footing there. Darryl Talley slides right by Johnny Mitchell. Johnny Mitchell goes for the extra 10, 15 yards.
Same drive. The Jets down 6. Boomer to Terrence Mathis. It's the 12th of never, but it's a big catch. That's up. 2nd goal from the 7. Boomer to a former Buffalo Bill, Chris Burkett. He skates into the end zone. 14-13 Jets. They're holding onto the ball. Pete Carroll's defense trying to do the job. And Ronnie Lott, well, he's been doing the job for a dozen years. Here's the knurl of Billy Brooks. Brooks down for a while, got back in. Marv Levy looking for his offense to move the ball. 14-13 Jets, 3rd and 11 in the 4th quarter. The dump to Thermal Thomas. And he warms up for a first down. Glenn Parker with a big block, number 74. From 40 yards out, it sets up a field goal by Steve Christie. 16-14 the Bills. Osler and Esiason talk over the final drive. 2nd and 15. Johnny Mitchell over the middle for 16 yards and a first down. 2nd and 10. Johnny Johnson off right tackle. First down. Marv Levy having glove trouble. Gary Blanchard having field goal trouble. Bruce Conslett on 3rd down. What's the call? Johnny Johnson runs wide, and he's stacked up, which means Blanchard got to come in the wind, in the cold. He's missed 2 from 42 yards. It's up, and it's no good. It's no good. The Bills celebrate their 5th AFC East title in the last 6 years. The Jets again play well enough to win, but they don't. Buffalo wins it 16-14 in a day surprisingly so cold. The teams combined for close to 500 yards passing. 6 straight playoff berths for the Bills. The Jets still alive, but they need help. Colts at the pass. Well, Bill Parcells has said that sooner or later this team would come around. They played so many close games. They're looking to win 3 in a row for the first time since '88. One thing you know when Bills teams are rolling means their tailback is rolling. Derek Russell, 14 yards around the end. Same drive. Derek Russell off left tackle. Look at the hole for 15 yards.
Yeah, a great lead block here by Kevin Turner on Jeff Harrod right there to spring Russell. Very much like the blocking patterns we saw Parcells install in New York with the Giants.
With Carthon, etc. Then Russell caps it with a 2-yard run, 7-0 to P-Man. Bill Parcells' Patriots at home. They look like they like the elements. The Colts are an indoor team. Temperatures in the 20s and falling, just like quarterback Jeff George. Ed Marcher Broda saying that afterwards that it's one of the worst games he's ever been associated with. Derek Russell, 20-yard game. Russell, 13 for 96, not for 97, not for the game, but for the first quarter. Less than 30 seconds to go in the half. The Patriots leading 10-0. Would it be Matt Barr? No, it's Bledsoe to Ben Winter Coates. Knocked out at the 1-yard line, Tom.
Yeah, anytime you see a receiver this open underneath in a zone package, you know that somebody has missed a coverage zone.
And then the play sets up Bledsoe. Zing to starving Marvin Cook. 17-0, the Patriots at the half in the third quarter. Bledsoe to Michael Timpson. Nice touch. He just slings it out of the backfield. Timpson does the rest for 29 yards. Same drive, the same combination. Bledsoe and Timpson. 30 yards, touchdown, 24-0, the Patriots in Atlanta. 400 yards of total offense. The Colts went nowhere. And when Rodney Culver fumbled, one of the graybeards on the Pats, Andre Tippett. Is this his last couple of games with the Patriots? You think Bill would like him around? The Patriots roll, I mean roll, 38-0 over the hapless Indianapolis Colts. Too bad only 26,000 were on hand to see. 3 straight wins for the Patriots. This is a team that lost 9 games by a total of 40 points. Today they win by 38. Their biggest winning margin since 1979, Tom, and that's when you were a young pup in the National Football League. The Patriots, you know, they play Miami up in the cold next week, so they could end with 4 and they could get out of the basement, and they're on their way. As for the Bills, Jets, we've seen this in the Jets before, haven't we?
Well, I think the Jets did a lot more to lose the game than the Bills actually did to win the game. And when you consider the last call that Coslett made from scrimmage, the 3rd down and 3 call, looking at a 42-yard field goal in sub-zero temperatures, that's much more like a 52-yarder for a kicker. And he had to make a call where he was either going to get yardage or place the ball more into the middle of the field. I think it's questionable, and I think that he'll look back on it and be second-guessed by everyone.
Well, he will, and the Jets are still alive. But the Bills win the East, and they know they could still be 1, 2, or 3 seed, depending on what happens to the end as we go inside the numbers. If you were with us on NFL Game, then we told you that the Patriots against the Colts, they like playing them. Yeah, the Colts beat them earlier this year, but since '89, the Patriots against the Colts 7-3. Against everyone else, they're 11-58. Bill Parcells has petitioned the league to schedule the Colts 16 times next season. P-Man to the Super Bowl. When we return, Reggie White. He'd like a shot at the Super Bowl. Could the Pats clinch a playoff berth against the Raiders?
My dandruff's really bad. The itch drives me crazy. I'll try anything. The Denorex side feels different. It has a clean, tingling feeling. Nothing with Head & Shoulders.
Both Denorex and Head & Shoulders have effective dandruff medicine. But Denorex goes a step further with something extra that tingles to give your scalp a fresh, invigorating feeling.
That tingle is why I started using Denorex.
Try Denorex with conditioners, the serious dandruff shampoo.
No more flakes, no more itch. My dandruff's history.
The passion isn't only on the field. Players aren't the only ones who feel it. I can feel the passion from the fans in the last row. I know when they fear defeat. I know when they sense victory. If you live it, if you love it, get real.
Logo Athletic, authentic team apparel.
Next Prime Monday at 7:30 Eastern, we'll preview the Dolphins and the Chargers. Backstage with the injured Dan Marino and a listen to the life of an inside linebacker.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. The Raiders at the Packers. Playoff berths are rare in Green Bay, even though that city has the name from the Lombardi years of Titletown. Last time the Pack made the playoffs 11 years ago in '82. Last time the Pack won the NFC Central was 1972. Cold? No problem with Green Bay, not for the Pack. Maybe a problem for the visiting Raiders from Southern California. It was the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, on a day better suited for the defense of Stalingrad. The third coldest day in Packer history, 22 below the wind chill. Reggie White put the chill in Jeff Hostetler batting down a ball. Haas overthrowing the Jet. James Jett looked like a Cessna. And then Hostetler picked off by George Ice-T. Haas sacked by Reggie White. Haas day, he saw the Pack.
Yeah, and look at the relentless pursuit of Reggie White when he's looking for a sack. Here, he goes at Max Montoya. He gets off the block to the outside, then continues to pursue the quarterback, drags Hostetler down by one leg for a sack.
Art Shell knew it would be tough to move the football as the Haas sacked 3 times, was picked, and only 56 yards passing. But it's a scoreless game in the first until Brett Favre and Sterling Sharp take care of business. He needs one to become the first man ever to grab 102 separate seasons, and Sharp did it in 2 straight. There's the math. Congratulations, Sterling Sharp. Looking to break his own record. Late in the second quarter, Favre, well, he's done it 100 times. Why not do it 101? 17 yards. Look at the turn, the spin, down to the 1-yard line, setting up an Edgar Bennett run. 7-0 Pack at the half. Third quarter. Art Shell watched as Favre, without his starting tight end, Jackie Harris, go long at West. And West does it. Mike Holmgren looks at the script. Let's go back to Sharp. Here's that pattern you see. Makes the move on McDaniel. Tommy, he's so strong. 11 touchdowns. This 23 yards, 14-0 Pack.
Sterling Sharp is the complete package here. Motion inside, loses himself in between 2 people, goes back outside, faces the defender. Quickness, speed, power. The nice cut right there at the 1-yard line to get into the end zone.
On the next Raider drive, number 90, Tony Bennett, leaves Jeff Hostetler's heart at Lambeau Field. The Haas had a concussion, was down for all. Fortunately, it was only a concussion. He didn't return, though, when the veteran Vince Emmons warms up. Haas has had a battered year. He's had a real good year, but he's taken some licks. Vince Evans comes in, and he remembers that Reggie White is pretty good. Second sack of the day for the Minister of Defense. 33 sacks for the Pack in their last 9 games. Things would get worse. Evans, watch this play. To Randy Jordan. Leroy Butler with the hit. The ball never hits the turf. There's Reggie White. Now look at him dish it off like Bob Lanier in the pivot. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There's Dave Bing, i.e. Leroy Butler. Touchdown. Oh, that Reggie White in the pivot. 21-0. And what a great scene. The Pack into their loving fans in the stands. Al Davis. Well, he didn't think the scene was so great. Darrell Thompson ended with a 60-yard run, giving him 101 on the day. The Pack shut out the Raiders 28-0, and they clinch a playoff berth. The Raiders at 9-6 have to wait until the final week. We told you it was cold, but the Pack warmed up the place. Lions at the Bears. Packers win. Could the Lions keep pace? Well, if it was cold in Green Bay, it wasn't a lot warmer at Soldier Field. Jim Harbaugh and the beleaguered Bears offense. But he's found a receiver in Terry Obie for 8 yards. And then we push the pile in the cold, and that's Tim Worley. Waiting to find a hole, does so off right tackle for 7 yards. Then Harbaugh rolls to escape the rush, finds Obie again, a sliding grab at the 5. That sets up Worley from the 1. Hey, the Bears, a juggernaut, 10-minute drive, 16 plays, 7-0 lead over the Lions. But Eric Kramer has been back in the saddle, and he's given the Lions new life. Here he hits Herman Moore, makes a nice grab in Bear territory. Same drive now, second quarter. Kramer skids a little, but finds Brett Perriman wide open in the seam, Tommy, from down to the 25. Then the big one. Kramer, Perriman, nice throw, touchdown, and we're tied at 7.
Yeah, Perriman runs a nice post route here, continues across the field. Kramer leads him nicely, hits him right in between the numbers.
10-7 the Lions at the half. You see Kramer's first half stats, 12 of 15. Second half didn't warm up any, but Pat Swilling trying to do it for the Lions D. Here he does, coming around the outside. And when Harbaugh does it, boom, he strips the ball from him. The Lions recovered. Swilling and the Lions are fired up. Kramer gets the break. And he tries to make the Bears pay for it. It's at Richard Dent with a move of his own, but no. Kramer escapes. And the beautiful throw against the grain to Aubrey Matthews for 25 yards.
Yeah, and this is a very difficult throw. After he escaped the rush at Dent, look at him go up off his feet to put this ball right where it has to be caught by Matthews.
Dave Wanstead, fourth quarter, knows the Bears needed really to keep in the run for any division hope. Hits Keith Jennings, does Harbaugh inside the 10. That sets up Harbaugh 1-yard run to the Bears. Lead it 14-13. But Kramer is undaunted. Goes back to Perryman. Passing very well on a cold day for 13 yards. Then, the play action to Perryman on the left side. He's open inside the 20. Then the 1-yard dart to tie a yellow ribbon Halleck. 20-14, the Lions. Wayne Fonts hopes his defense can brave a Bears drive. 4th and 4, 2 minutes to go. Incomplete to Curtis Conway. The Lions, yeah, they're still very much in it. As a matter of fact, they've clinched at least a wild card berth. The Lions go to Chicago where they were written off, and they beat the Bears 20-14. Kramer 23 of 31. And afterwards, Wayne Fonts says, we have reason to be proud.
I've been in first place since day one. This team believed in me. I believed in this football team. That was any indication. So what we think about one another in this locker room, in our organization, Mr. Ford and Doug Schmidt, Michael Hughes, my scouts, everybody. We believe what we're trying to get done. And a lot of people kind of wrote us out, wrote me out. I'll tell you what, Dad, I'm fighting my job. I want to do this. Thank you.
Well, let me tell you something. The Lions players, they like Wayne. We saw that right away when he took over years ago for Darryl Rogers. And I think Wayne wears his heart on his sleeve. So let's sum it up. Both the Packers and the Lions, Tommy, have clinched at least wild card berths. They play next week at the Silverdome. One will win the NFC Central and host the first-round game. The other will be a wild card team, either the second or third wild card team. And as far as the Raiders game up at Green Bay, they looked out of their element.
Well, a quick point on each of these games. I think certainly we talked about the Raiders and that vertical game. That vertical game does not work when you're talking about sub-zero temperatures. I think you have to do what the Packers did. You have to run the short passing game, allow your receivers to catch the ball, and then make yardage. And going to the Lions and the Bears, Eric Kramer would seem to be the quarterback that the Lions have needed. He's the guy with the touch. He's the guy who can escape the pocket and spot people in the open areas. They struggled with Pete. They struggled with Ware. They're winning with Eric Kramer.
So there's an example of a team that got off to a good start. It was good enough to afford them to have a lull, and now they're back at it. Unlike Saints and Eagles, who look like they've kind of squandered, Browns have squandered that early start. Lions and Pack are in. And Sterling Sharp is in as the only man to catch 100 passes 2 times. So we wondered, of the guys that caught 100 or more, how did they do the next year? Lionel Taylor for the old Broncos with the striped socks in 61, caught 100 his next year, 77. Charlie Hennigan for the Oilers caught a 101 in 64. The next year, slumped to 41. Arthur Monk had the standard until Sharp broke the record at 106, followed with 91 for the Skins at 84. Jerry Rice, 100, followed by 80. Hayward Jeffries, a couple years ago, at 100, followed by 90. The best, Sterling Sharp. As you can see, he needs only 3 to best his own record. 214 catches in 2 years. Not bad. Cards looking to catch the Giants on an off day. We'll be back.
I don't say this to many people, but the job we do is the most important job I can think of.
Okay, guys, listen up.
I mean, there's no such thing as a B-plus mechanic on this airline.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Even the most junior mechanic can keep an airplane in this hangar if there's a hint of a problem. You might think a job like this would become routine, but every now and then, I just take a walk through the terminal. And right there, you see what's important.
Tom, Mary, on behalf of myself and everyone here, I want to wish you both all the health, love,
The
and
champagne's not Corbel.
that you'd expect when a cheap, no-good womanizer marries a gold-digging flirt. I give the whole thing 2 months.
Way to go, Joey!
Corbel, for people who know champagne.
25 years the club's been taking this vacation. Maybe it should have been 24.
Welcome to Dollar. Something in a full size?
As long as there's room for my hog.
Or as much room as you need. Rent from Dollar. They're right on the airport, right on the money.
All right, everybody, hands on the wheel at 10 and
Call your
2.
travel agent or 1-800-800-4000.
To help manage your money more wisely today, get the Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Personal Finance. The guide is filled with information you need to know before you buy a home, plan your retirement, or start saving for your child's college years. Subscribe now to the Wall Street Journal. Take advantage of this introductory offer. Get 10 weeks of the Journal for just $36 and your free copy of the Guide to Personal Finance. Call 800-423-1300. That's 800-423-1300.
The New York Giants have had a marvelous season, marvelous in that they've been so consistent. But with the Dallas Cowboys looming next week, the Giants with a Monday night win on the road at New Orleans. When it's cold in the Northeast, they've got Christmas and a couple of nice days at Phoenix. And there was a slight chance that maybe this one added up to potential trouble, even for the steady G-men. You had a feeling the Giants would have their hand full. Phillippe Sparks on punt coverage with Anthony Edwards and Robert Massey. Bill Sims has had a great year. Play action, and he zings it in the right flat to Rodney Hampton. Well, play action to Hampton, finds Callaway for 16. Then Sims to look at the little make a catch for 13 yards. And then Rodney Hampton running the leading rushing team in football. They had a tough time. Hampton greeted by Ken Harvey in the defensive line. The Dan Reeves squad settles for a field goal, 3-0 G-Man. Gary Clark. He has killed the Giants over the years. Remember the Redskins. Clark, the 11th player in NFL history to catch 600 passes. Gary Clark, a gutty man over the middle of the field. You know that, Tom. Giants still moving the ball well. 3rd and 10, Sims to Meggett. Gets by number 54, David Braxton, and he dives for 17 yards. 3rd and 3. Sims to Aaron Pierce, knocked away by Lorenzo Lynch. Giants dominating time in the first half, but they lead only 6-0. Third quarter, it's 6-3, and Ron Moore, the youngster, runs for 12 yards. Moore cuts back left for 6 yards. Then on 2nd and 4, Moore takes the handoff first into the secondary, and he carries the Giants into the end zone with him. It's 10-6 Cards.
Yeah, the Giants here blitz both inside linebackers, Carlton Bailey and Corey Miller. Moore takes it to the outside. The entire Giants secondary has to bring him down, but it's a little bit too late.
Then the flea flicker, the Giants trying to get the lead back. The flea flicker to Mark Jackson, but it's a fumble. The Giants only one fumble in 4 games going in, but it's a fumble, and the Cards recover, Tom.
Yeah, Sims threw the ball here into the flat. Mark Jackson got hit by Eric Hill, and the ball was recovered by Robert Massey right there.
And so the Cardinals, they give it to Ron Moore. He had 135 yards. These were very few of them, but were one of his 2 touchdowns. And so the Cardinals making their feelings known. They're playing hard for well-liked coach Joe Bugle. The fans want to see him stay, and they upset the Giants. The Cardinals, who almost upset them in the Meadowlands a little over a month ago, beat the Giants 17-6. So the G-men fall to 11-4. Meanwhile, while the Giants were losing, not far away from Phoenix and Dallas, it was Jimmy Johnson against the rival Redskins. Remember, the Redskins upset them on opening Monday night, but they didn't have Emmitt Smith then, and very soon the Redskins found that Dallas with Emmitt, little different. That was 15 yards. Here's 8 yards, Tom.
Yeah, linebackers here have a very hard time focusing on him. Ask Kurt Gobert right there, number 54. Very shifty style once he gets into the secondary. He starts to slip and slide by people, and he's got very strong legs that allow him to actually run through people.
So the Cowboys, when Emmitt runs, you can use play action, and he does it right there. Aikman rolling right. And let's go to another Pro Bowler, right? But Michael Irvin, 8-yard touchdown, and the Cowboys lead it 14-3 after Low Miller's field goal had earlier given the Redskins a 3-0 lead. Aikman to Alvin Harper. Harper takes 3 skims to knock him down for 13 yards. Aikman, Harper makes the catch. Some nifty footwork to get in the end zone. Touchdown. 21-3. The Cowboys emphatically with a dunk. Emmitt Smith able to relax and watch the defense. Mark Rippon was 6-3 as a starter against the Cowboys, but Russell Maryland with the sack. Tony Casillas, now this looks like the defense we saw last year. Rippon threw for only 81 yards on a horrible day. Emmitt, he didn't have a horrible day. He ran for 19 and a first down. Smith, let's run up the middle. Let's cut left. Look at him make the move. Let's get him go. 35 yards. Emmitt Smith, 153 yards for Emmitt today, as he wants to win the rushing title. 37-1 is Dallas when he has 20 or more carries. 27-1 when he has 100 or more yards, like those old Dorsett numbers. I.e., Emmett's good, they're good. Calvin Williams takes the Reggie Roby punt, and Kevin is gone. Let's get him go. 35-3. Richie Pettibone's Skins have had a long season after that great opening night with so much promise. Dallas slices and dices the Skins, 38-3. The Cowboys and Giants each with the same record at 11-4, although despite the Giants' loss, it really doesn't change much. It all comes down to next Sunday at the Meadowlands, Week 18, Dallas at the Giants. If Dallas wins, they win the East and home field throughout the playoffs in the NFC. If the Giants win, they get the same. The other goes to the wild card slot. Get the feeling the Cowboys are just starting to find their stride, Tom?
Well, I think they certainly, as you said, they look like the defense that we saw play most of last year. And I take exception to those people who will say that the game that the Giants played against the Cardinals was meaningless, because it was not. Emotionally, they were going into this next game, this must-win situation with the Cowboys, on an emotional high. Now they're playing at opposite ends of the spectrum. They go in, I think, with a little doubt in their mind as to whether they can beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys will feel like they're the same old Giants that they played last year, rather than the team that won some 8 out of 9, 9 out of 10 games.
Was it 31-9? That was the score.
Yes.
That was November 7th. That had been the last Giant loss. That was the Dallas game until this loss today to the Cardinals. Well, let's look at our honor roll. Emmett Smith certainly on it for 100-yard rushers. But ironically, the guy that had the most rushing yards was on a losing team. You don't see it that much. Eric Pegram ran for 180 yards. The Falcons were tripped up by the Bengals. Emmett, you saw the 153. Leonard Russell, marvelous for the Patriots. And Ron Moore for the Cardinals had a pair of touchdowns and 135 yards. John Vaughn, Seahawk highlights coming up. Darrell Thompson had 60 on one of his touchdown runs for the winning pack. Speaking of the Seahawks, when we return, the Seahawks trying to put a hurt on the Steelers' playoff chances up in the Pacific Northwest. We'll be back.
If there's one thing I miss about training for the Olympics, is that back then I never worried about fitness. I mean, with all the exercise I got skating, staying in shape just came naturally. That's why I'm really excited about this new fitness machine. It's called the Crosswalk, and I love it because it makes exercising so simple. The Crosswalk is a dual action exercise machine, meaning it works your upper body as well as your lower. For walking or running, the Crosswalk has a heavy-duty motor and a 0 to 8 mile per hour range of speed. This lets you set a pace that's comfortable for you. If you want to lose pounds, lower cholesterol, reduce stress, or get in better cardiovascular shape, this is the way to do it. With a total body workout that's balanced and fun.
For just $49.95 a month for 12 months, or $599, the Crosswalk will be shipped to your home. The Crosswalk is made in America, and its quality is guaranteed.
ESPN's Guide to Better Bowling.
Here's the spin. It's the Thrifty Car Rental Bowl Week. Non-stop college bowl game action every day. We'll strike up the band. You pin down the schedule. The Thrifty Car Rental Bowl Week. The ball gets rolling Tuesday, December 28th. It's your turn. Go bowling pigskin style.
Remember the keys to successful bowling: concentration and...
Here we go from Mile High, where Wade Phillips Broncos figured to sit on the Buccaneers' butt. The temperatures in the 50s, which meant the Bucs had a chance, because they never win games when it's below 32 degrees. Rod Bernstein upended, lands on his right shoulder. He'd leave the game with a dislocated shoulder, a bad loss for the Broncos. His replacement, Robert Del Pino, ran hard, gets the good blocking, 13 yards on the sweep. 2 plays later, Reggie rolling on the Rivers, gets the block here, rolls outside left, 14 yards inside the 5-yard line, Tom.
Yeah, a big hole open up here for Rivers. And look to the left of your screen. Look at the block by Del Pino right there. Puts the safety down on the ground. Allows Rivers to get the 14 yards.
Very next play, Rivers, only his 10th carry of the year. Economical with the touchdown. 7-0 the Broncos. But Sam Weich's Buccaneers have played better down the stretch. Craig Erickson. Look at him just fight off the rush by Shane Dronette. And he uncourts to Dave Moore. Touchdown, my goodness. What a Bucs play. Perhaps the play of the day, Elway to Tony Kimbrough. Yeah. Oh, he catches it but he came from out of bounds. It'll still make our highlight reel. 10-7 Bucks in the second half, turning point of the game. Glenn Milburn, remember what a big year he had in September, big month? Well, it's a big bubble right here as Roger Jones falls on it.
Yeah, Roger Jones right there stepped on Glenn Milburn's foot, did not give him room to catch the football. It actually should have been the Broncos' ball, but it's a penalty that's seldom called.
3 plays later, Erickson to Courtney Hawkins. Wow, look at the touch. Erickson, a good game at Mile High, 17-7 the Bucks, smelling the upset. Broncos driving. John Elway complete to Cedric Tillman, but he is tripped by Martin Minshew, and Joe King falls on it for the Bucks. Glenn Milburn on the punt return tries to redeem himself. Let him go. He could go all the way, except he fumbles. Another turnover, and the Buccaneers eventually come up with the ball. They lead it 17-10. One last chance. They didn't have to go for Elway, 4th and 6. Elway to Shannon Sharp, underthrown. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have gone into Mile High Stadium and have upset the Denver Broncos, who do make the playoffs anyway, but not the way they wanted to. Bucks 17, the Broncos 10. Steelers 1-3 lifetime at the Kingdome against the Seahawks. Rick Meyer, no time to wallow in the mire for Rick without his running back Chris Warren. Had an injury diagnosed before the game, but John Vaughn, the former Patriot, runs for 25 yards. Remember the Steelers were once impregnable when you tried to move the ball on them? Forget it. That was years ago. 33-yard run by the rookie quarterback. Then it's Vaughn up the middle. Where's the defense? Greg Lloyd out. They obviously missed him. It's an 11-yard run. Vaughn, 131 yards, a career high. 2nd and goal. Meyer looks, then finds Paul Green. Color of money, 7-0, Tom.
Yeah, you watch here, number 22, Vaughn. Again on the right, here comes Chad Brown on the left of your screen. Vaughn takes him out. Meyer has enough time to release the ball for the touchdown.
Against the run, Bill Cowher's defense had been tough, but at the half, Seattle had double what they allow normally in a game. Woodson, Lake, and company try and get them fired up. Neil O'Donnell out of his end zone to the tight end, Eric Green. Rubbed and bumped and stumped for 43 yards. Then, as Green tries to get his teammates fired up, O'Donnell to Dwight and the family Stone. Everyday people, 30 yards. O'Donnell looking for a play as they switch quarters. 3rd and goal from the 12. He can't find a receiver. And then the safety, Eugene Robinson's had a big year for the Seahawk defense, makes the sack.
And what a great effort by Eugene Robinson. Here, blocked right there. Jumps up again in the air, and then the great burst right there to get to O'Donnell. You can't outrun Eugene Robinson.
Tom Flores. Oh, they ran for 267 yards, 4th highest in team history. This is a team that used to grind it out with Kurt Warner and John L. Williams. And boy, the Pittsburgh Steelers, since that whitewash of the Bills on Monday Night Football, where have you been? The Seahawks beat them 16-6. Browns at the Rams. Well, maybe Cleveland fired up because JB, Jim Brown, on the sidelines. Eric Metcalf, one of the most exciting players in the game, runs up the gut for 10 yards. That's the game Metcalf had not far from there earlier in the year against the Raiders at the Mausoleum. This in Anaheim. And Vinny Testaverde says he likes this Southern California thing. 20 yards to Metcalf. Testaverde to Keenan McCardle. Touchdown. Nice pass, Vinny. 14-7 the Browns.
Yeah, McCardle here makes a very nice move on the Rams cornerback, Courtney Griffin. Gets himself wide open right there in the corner of the end zone. That's an easy shot for Vincenzo.
3rd quarter. Still 14-7 Browns on 2nd and 2. Vinny. Oh, play action, Vinny. He looks for McCardle. Streaking into the end zone. Touchdown. 28 yards. 21-7. 4 touchdowns for McCardle in his last 2 games. Touchdown, Keenan McCardle in the 4th quarter. Metcalf on the sidelines with his knee banged up. So Mark Carrier says, well, I know you're not there, big guy, but I'll take this Sean Landeta punt and make it a personal Landeta. Touchdown, 28-7 the Browns. Chuck Knox can't believe Cleveland rolling it up on the Rams. Down 28-7, TJ Rubley Tuesday. Wishes it was Tuesday. Randy Hilliard picks it up. He could go all the way. The quarterback, Rubley, saves the touchdown. Rubley in the first half, 5. In the second half, Not so fun. That sets up. Touchdown, Tommy Vardell. There it is. 35-7 Browns. Oh, by the way, Vinny Testaverde. Unbelievable. 21 of 23 breaks the old record for completion percentage in one game. Ken Anderson had gone 20 of 22 a little more than a decade ago for the Bengals. Vinny Testaverde into the record books. The Browns boil the Rams 42-14. So Vinny and Eric Allen into the NFL record books, as is Sterling Sharp today. Game ball. And Tommy and I return in a moment.
In an age of anonymous luxury cars, a Jaguar remains defiantly individual. Because Jaguar has a design philosophy that doesn't change with the wind. For details on the new Jaguar Dream Lease, see your local dealer.
Hey, here's your din-din, big fella, huh? Yeah. Here's Daddy's din-din.
Once you get a look at those two all-beef patties.
No, this is Daddy's. Would you try
That special sauce, lettuce, cheese piled fresh and hot on that sesame seed bun. You've gotta have a Big Mac.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
It's time for primetime players. My game ball, I got to give it to the Minister of Defense. Pair of sacks today, but this great play. Look at him again in the pivot after Butler makes the strip. Look at Reggie White in the pivot. Selmo Beatty. Dish it off to the man on the outside for the jumper. Good. Leroy Butler with the touchdown. Reggie White. The sacks, the tackles, the intercept, the fumble recovery, whatever you want to call it. He gets my game ball, Tom.
Good imitation, Chris. My game ball goes to a marvelous athlete, Eric Allen, who has kept the playoff hopes of the Philadelphia Eagles alive. Here he steps in front of a Steve Walsh pass, runs it in 33 yards. This looks like an instant replay to the other side of the football field. He tied an NFL record this year for interception returns for TDs this season. 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 2 big touchdowns. That'll get you a game ball every time, Chris.
And I'll tell you, in Robin's absence, we're going to give a game ball to the fans, young and old alike. Some may be having a better time than others. All of them cold. One of the coldest days in the Northeast. You know, at Christmas time, the last time it was on a weekend a few years ago, it was playoff times already. Now you got these cold weather games and cold weather sites all throughout the league. Thanks, fans, for showing up. We hope you had a good time. We'll be back.
I took diet pills. I lost 34 pounds.
6 months later, the weight came back.
That's when I decided to get off the diet roller coaster and get on a Nordic Track.
In fact, Nordic Track is so easy to stick with that after 5 years, 7 out of 10 Nordic Track owners still use their Nordic Track skiers an average of 3 times a week.
It's been more than 2 years. The weight's still off, and I'm still on my Nordic Track. You should give Nordic Track a try.
Call now for a free video and brochure. Take weight off and keep it off. Nordic Track introduces the Weight Loss Satisfaction Guarantee. Research shows that Nordic Track's total body workout burns more calories than exercisers that only work your legs. Discover what numerous customers have found. With regular exercise on Nordic Track, you can take weight off and keep it off. And we're so confident you'll lose weight too, we guarantee it. We'll guarantee that you'll lose at least 10 pounds in 60 days or your money back. Call now for a free video and brochure. Ask about our 60-day weight loss satisfaction guarantee.
ESPN's Bowling Guide. The Thrifty Car Rental Bowl Week rolls on. Wyoming tries to knock down Kansas State. Wednesday night at 8 Eastern in the Weiserlock Copper Bowl. Remember, bowling's fun. NFL Primetime has been brought to you by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Well, we told you that the day after Christmas, Week 17 was wild. I don't know when the last time on the same Sunday, Cincinnati, New England, Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Phoenix all won on the same afternoon. Nice work, guys. Oh, by the way, there were some other teams that may not have fared as well on the field today, but ones that are thinking about football in late January. The Giants and Cowboys, it's very simple. The winner of next Sunday's game at the Meadowlands will be home throughout the NFC playoffs. The loser will host a wild card game, then have to do it on the road. The Niners are the #2 seed in the NFC playoffs. The Packers and the Lions are in. Whoever wins the game next week at the Silverdome will win the NFC Norris. The loser stays a wild card. With the Vikings win tonight, if they win next Friday against Washington, they're in. If they lose, some others are alive, the Bears are gone. In the AFC, the Chiefs' loss means that if Buffalo and Houston each win next week, it's the Buffalo Bills that'll be home throughout the playoffs. Chiefs win the West. Denver is in, positioning depending on their game with the Raiders at L.A. next week. Miami has the Monday night game and at New England on the road. Steelers and Jets need to win, and they need some help. What we've seen is a day that it's kind of nice that in the NFC divisional titles and stuff coming right down to the wire, they've got big games in Week 18.
Yeah, and I think that the important thing to remember is that one of these teams, you're going to see teams playing not only for that home field advantage, but playing on emotion, playing to keep streaks going. The Houston Oilers right now are the team to beat because they have that streak going. I think that the Giants had the capabilities of doing that, as I said earlier. Now I think the edge goes to the Dallas Cowboys.
And as we sit throughout the show, Tommy, congratulations to those that made the playoffs, but we're especially impressed by the teams who would have little or no playoff shots that are still playing very hard in December. We mentioned some of those teams a couple of moments ago. You mentioned Philadelphia. That's what football's about. That's the Christmas spirit, trying to do your best. We hope you enjoyed Week 17 of NFL Primetime. For Tom Jackson, for the vacationing Robin Roberts, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching.